Hi everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce, and today we're going to try something a little bit different. A few months ago I bought this candle from the website of a subscription box that was shutting down. I don't remember the name of the box, but I will put it in the description bar and a link to the website if it's still up and selling things as well, if you wanted to check that out. And one of the things that I bought from them was this Novel Scents & Co. candle, which is scented like Katie Grant's comics. It's a soy candle. The scent was patchouli and ylang-ylang, I think. It's really nice, very floral. It's a pink candle, very sweet. When I burned it, I was kind of in the room but not like watching it, and after a couple of hours I went over to check on it and found that it had put itself out because the wick detached from the bottom of the container, capsized, and then it must have happened fairly early on because by the time I realized, the wax was mostly set again. And I had no idea what it was or what had happened until I actually pulled out what I could see with a pair of tweezers, and it was the entire wick. So for a little while I've been wondering about what I can possibly do with this candle that now has no wick, and a few people on Twitter were like, well, you could melt it and pour it into another container, reattach the wick and pour it back into the candle. And I thought, that sounds like a lot of work, but I kept thinking about it and thinking, there's probably nothing else that I can do. And then I suddenly thought, I have an oil burner, I could make wax melts. So that's what we're going to do. So the first step would be to get the wax out of the candle. And this was the part that I didn't really have any trouble with. I know how to do this. The way that I do it is I put it in the freezer at least overnight. This one's actually been in the freezer for a couple of weeks now, but it'll be fine. And then once it's frozen, you can actually break up the wax with a knife and tip it up and get the wax out onto a piece of paper towel. So that's what we're going to do. Easy. And now you can wash the containers, and they actually retain the scent of the candle even after they've been washed. So you can still smell the ghosts of all the candles you've used before. It's very nice. Once you've got the wax out of the candle, the next part is to actually melt it. So what I've got is a microwave safe mixing bowl, and I'm going to just put all of the wax in here and then melt it in the microwave. So I just googled the optimum time to heat soy wax in the microwave, and they say that if you have 16 ounces you should melt it for 5 minutes. I'm not quite sure how much this is. It's definitely less than 16, maybe about 4. I don't really know what an ounce is either. Australia uses the metric system, but I'm just going to try it a minute at a time and see how we go. Ah. Okay, that's about half melted. So we'll do it for another minute. Okay. That has, melted very nicely. So, time to pour. So I've covered this cutting board in cling wrap with a bit of paper towel over the top. because it is actually the cutting board that we use for food, and I don't want to get wax on it. I mean, it's soy wax, so in theory it's probably edible, but I wouldn't want to test that. So, also don't worry about me not using pot holders. This bowl isn't actually very hot, and I work in fast food. I burn my hands all day, every day. It's fine, I'm used to it. All right, so now let's just see how many I can get out of this. Okay, so I got 4 out of that mixture. And I wasn't planning to leave it here on the sink, but it occurs to me I can't move it without overflowing the little molds. So we might just leave it here until it sets a little bit. And then I'll probably put them in the freezer, because that seems like a good place. Okay, so it's been about an hour, and I don't know if they are fully set, but they are at least mostly set. So I'm going to move them off the sink and just over onto the cupboard, and I will try and pop them out tomorrow morning. Okay, so it's actually Wednesday night. I didn't get to check them this morning because I slept all morning and then had to go to work. But they've had plenty of time to set. The wax that I spilt on the mold here has dried, so I think they're going to be okay. So I'm just going to pop them out and see what they look like from the other side. Okay, so they are absolutely adorable. One broke slightly here, but that's okay. I'm in love. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Alright, so soy wax is fairly soft and it's pretty warm here because we're going into summer, so I think I'm actually just going to put them back in the empty candle container and put them in the fridge so they hold their shape until I'm ready to use them. So, this was a fun experiment. I hope you have enjoyed going along with it with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.